Hello, welcome to my channel where I do guides for post-processing software. Today we are inside of Luminar AI. So it's a new product from Luminar or Skylum that was released for everyone at 16th of December, I think. So it's been out just for a few days. And it's a product that might not be for everyone. I think that's safe to say. We're going to do some quick edits and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Luminar AI. So let's just jump in. The first picture we're going to do is a portrait. It's a self-portrait, so yeah, that's how I look. We're going to go to templates. Okay, so template is settings for your photo, is color toning, everything, but it analyzes the highlights, the shadows, the midtones, the blacks, the whites, and the general toning, color toning, and it applies the look after how bright your image is, after how dark it is. It tries to balance out the settings within the template itself. So when going into templates, you will see it suggests templates for your photo. So for this photo, it says up here, it's suggesting that this is objects. So obviously I'm kind of an object, but this is actually a portrait, so I'm not gonna do that. But oops, but we can scroll and see, for example, experimental. That can be quite interesting. So let's look. Let's try burn film. It does something. I'm not too happy about it, but it's kind of interesting anyway. Celebrate cold frame. Yeah, that's actually also interesting in a way. Yeah, if I had better time, I would actually like to try something with this. Let's see, color ramp, that's a black and white filter, and that's also kind of nice. I kind of like that actually. Let's do glow. So yeah, no, but the color ramp is interesting. So okay, but let's go back and let's see if we have some portraiture in, yeah, easy portraits. There we are. So high key is kind of a very bright version, should be, but it's not. Attack sharp. Fade. Yeah, that's, I like it. Vignette. Yeah, I actually like this one. There's a bit of contrast in it. So the templates is not a one-click fix all. You usually have to go in and edit the pictures. Even Skylum will say that you probably need to edit the picture after you apply the template. So let's go in and edit. So the first thing I like to do when I'm inside of the edit module is to go to light. And I'm going to try and see if, yeah, we might want to bring up just a little bit on the shadows. Not much, but let's bring it up just a bit there. To around there. I don't want to lose the contrast, so maybe down just a bit and maybe up a bit on the contrast itself. It's a bit too bright. Yeah, let's go around there. I'm gonna drop the highlights just a little bit to around there. That's nice. I think I'm happy about that. The light balance, white balance seems fine. Let's go to color and let's do something on the vibrance to around there, and I'm actually going to drop the saturation, and I'm going into the HSL, and I'm going to adjust the saturation. I don't like it's a bit too much red, so let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see my entire face was red. So by desaturating the red, I actually removed about every color in my face. So I think I'm gonna go to around there, maybe. Yeah, something like that. And I also like the color in my t-shirt, so I'm actually gonna make it pop just a little bit. So I'm going up on the blues and the cyan as well. So something like that, I think. Yeah, that's nice. And let's go into the landscape. I want to dehaze. There's no haze here, but I'm going to dehaze to see what it does with the contrast. You can also use the dehaze to make your picture pop a little bit more. So yeah, I think maybe something like that. Now let's go into the portrait module, and we're gonna do the face first. So the face light seems okay. I'm gonna do just a little hint of slim face. It's not gonna be much. Yeah, to around there. Now I'm gonna go in at 100%, and I'm gonna check what I can do about the eyes here. So let's try the eye enhancer. Just gonna bring up the iris, the details inside the iris here. The iris is a bit dark, so I'm just gonna make it pop a bit more here. So let's bring it up to around there. And I'm also gonna try and do something about the eye whitening. I'm a bit red in my eyes. If you do too much, it's gonna be like a flashlight. You're gonna see that the image is edited, and I don't want that. That's okay, I think. Maybe do slightly improvements on my eyebrows. Yeah, something like that. I think this is okay actually. Let's go. Yeah, let's go to the skin module. I want to remove some shine. There are some shine here. I'm going to try and remove. This is also highlight, and it's highlighting the correct areas, if you want to call it that. I want to try and soften my skin just a bit. On males, you generally don't want to soften the skin too much. Skin defects removal. So yeah, it kind of did a good job, I guess, except for over here. So I can try and paint that area out. So I'm just gonna click on the eraser. I'm gonna do 100% on the opacity, and I'm going to paint that out. That was a bit too much, so I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna do it more right over here maybe. Yeah, that's okay. And we have some issues here as well. I'm gonna go down on the opacity here, and I'm gonna paint that out as well. This sometimes happens when you do that kind of skin fix or defects removal. That's just the nature of this plugin, so that's fine. I kind of want to do something about my teeth, so I'm going up to face again. I'm going to mouth, and I'm going to do some whitening on the teeth. So I'm a smoker and coffee drinker, so my teeth are unfortunately brown. I don't care so much actually, but so I'm going up on the teeth whitening. Don't do too much teeth whitening. It's not gonna look like the person in the photo if you do too much. So try and do just enough. I think I'm happy about it, but let's go just a bit up on the radius. Yeah, that's it. Let's go to fit to screen. And that's my portrait. Let's look at the before and after. So this is before and this is the after. I kind of like it actually. Would maybe go with a vignette here. So I'm going into advanced settings and the feather is at 100%. That's good. I'm going down on the roundness. I'm just gonna do like this and go all the way down there and go to around there and down on the size, and I'm just gonna feather it out to something like that, and I'm gonna take the inner light and I'm gonna pull that up just a bit to around there. And now I'm going to go up on the amount again, so carefully until it looks realistic, and I would say to about there. Let's look at the before and after. So this is the before, this is the after. Great. So let's go for another picture here. Let's go for, yeah, let's do this one. So this is just a generic landscape image. Let's click the templates. Let's see if it finds what kind of image this is. So it suggests easy landscapes. We can try that. We can go for long exposure, and I think that's actually pretty good. Sunset, no. Clean light is also good for a starting point. Let's check the before and after. I think I actually like that clean light, I mean, sorry. Let's go into the edit, and we're going to, yeah, let's start with the light again. I'm going to warm this image up just a bit, and I'm going up on the magenta as well to around there, and then I'm going down to the landscape, and I'm going up on the golden hour. I think, yeah, to around there, I think. Let's go back to light. Let's drop the highlights just a bit, and I'm going to go up on the shadows. I usually do not want the foreground to be this bright, but I'm going to adjust that later. So let's go up on the shadows. I want to get more details from this horizon there. So around there, I think. I'm gonna pop the smart contrast just a bit to around there. Then I'm going to go into the AI enhancer and accent AI. I'm gonna go up on it to maybe around here, and I'm going to try the sky enhancer. It's probably gonna do too much. No, I kind of like it around there. That created some drama in the sky, so I really like that. This is the before, and this is the after. So let's go to color and I'm going into HSL again, and I'm going to hue. I think I want to kind of make this less yellow, so I might actually try and go over to the orange. To somewhere around there maybe. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, and I'm going up on the vibrance just to warm it up. That's fine. And I'm going to saturation, and I have a green tint here, so I'm going down on that green on the saturation just to desaturate that. I didn't like that. Yeah, so that's the color. Let's go into landscape. I'm going to dehaze it just to bring out some more contrast. So to around there, and just go up on the golden hour just for fun, and go back to something like that. Maybe it's a bit too much actually. Let's go down. Yeah. Okay, so starting to get interesting here. Let's go into the color module, and I kind of want to go to the mystical that's down here, and I'm gonna bring that up. I kind of like the mystical. It's kind of bringing out some kind of glow effect, almost autumn effect. You have glow down here, but I like the mystical one. It's a pretty nice effect, I think. Yeah, something like that. I forgot to do some structure. I want structure on the rocks in the foreground. So it's even brightening up the foreground, but that's okay. Let's go back to the color. There's nothing more we want to do there. Mood is also kind of cool because you have the LUTs you can apply. The toning is it's a split toning effect, kind of. We're going into the professional, and I'm going to super contrast. If I want to now, I can balance the highlights by going up on the highlights contrast, and then this really brings out the sky, so it's doing a really good job. Maybe try something with the midtones, but I think it's not necessary. Let's see what it's. I think it's a bit much with the midtones actually. And let's go just down a bit. On color harmony, I don't care about the brilliance or warmth. I want to deal with the color contrast. This is a really excellent filter for landscape photos. I love it a lot. So sometimes you get really special effects like this, and I just love it. It's a bit too much on this photo, so I'm going down just a bit there. Let's see, before and after. So yeah, I'm just in love with that effect. Let's go back and let's do the vignette. So we are once again going to go down on the amount. There we see the size. I'm going, I like to enhance this part, so I'm going to place the vignette somewhere around there, I think. And I'm going down on the size again as well. I really want the viewer to look at the sun there, so to around there. And now I want to go up on the feather, and then I go up on the amount again. So thinking something like that. Let's check the inner light. Yeah, to around there, I think. Now I'm going to deal with the foreground there. So to deal with that, we need to go to local masking. So we need to click on the add button, and we're going to add a basic layer or basic mask. I want to do this with a gradient. So I'm selecting gradient from the menu up there, and I'm going to drag out a gradient to around there. And I'm just going to pull it down to around here, and I'm going to go down on the exposure on that gradient, just to bring the foreground down just a bit, and up on the contrast as well. So I think maybe around there. I want to desaturate it as well, so I'm just going to go down slightly on the desaturation or saturation slider, and I want to pull it together just a bit there. So let's look at the before, and this is the after. Before, after. It's a bit dark in the foreground, so let's go back up a bit. Let's go up on the structure. Yeah, I want to go down again, actually. And let's finish off in the light. I think the image is starting to get a bit dark, so I'm going up slightly on the exposure. And I'm going up on the smart contrast. And I think that's fine. It's a bit heavy, but it's a good demonstration of what you can do inside of Luminar AI. When you've made a lot of changes and you're not sure what change is doing what, you can always go down on the opacity of those changes you've done. So you can remove it completely. I usually go down all the way to the left and start going up and stop when I think it's enough. So I'm thinking maybe it's enough around here. And let's look at before and after. The last thing I want to do is go to Composition AI, and we can make the AI suggest a crop. So I'm going to click on the Composition AI button, and it's suggesting a 2:3 crop. I want to have the rule of thirds on the sun, so I'm placing the sun in this corner of the thirds, and I'm just clicking. No, I want to straighten the horizon. That's really important. So let's straighten it to around there. And then I'm just going to click the top of the Composition AI, and it's going to apply the crop. And yeah, that actually works. I see that I have a spot here. Honestly, the spot removal tool inside of Luminar is not the best spot removal tool. You'll see that as you go through and do spot removal, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work at all. So I'm sure I have more spots here. And then I just click on the erase. Yeah, it did okay job. Usually when you have dark contrasts like this, hard contrast, hard edges with a lot of contrast, you can get fringes. Almost forgot what it's called. You You can see I have a little purple fringe just on top of this rock, but I think it's gonna be hard to fix, but we can try. So let's go into Pro Tools, Optics, and go to Advanced Settings and try and click the fringe button. I can't see any real difference there, so yeah. But now you know where it is, so you can find it under Advanced Settings on the Optics under Professionals. So okay, that's it. Let's go to Fit Screen and let's do this image. So on this image I'm going to go for a different starting point. I'm not going to go into the templates. I'm simply going to start at the essential, and the first slider so I'm going to move is the Enhance AI or Accent AI, and I'm going to pull that up pretty far actually, and you can see that this really makes a lot of difference, but it's doing it in a really smart way. It's doing what I want, so it's actually a pretty good slider to start with. I like to start with that slider before even trying templates actually, to be honest. You can also enhance the sky, so it's bringing in some more blue tones into the sky. And the second thing I would do, since this is a landscape photo, I would go to landscape and I would actually do just a bit on the enhance slider, but go up on the golden hour. This is a golden hour photo, so maybe not that much, maybe around here. Let's check the before, and this is the after. So this is 2 sliders, or 3 with the sky slider. So 3 sliders, we go from this to this. This is, in my opinion, very effective and it's very impressive. So if you have landscapes photos like this, start your workflow going from Enhance AI to landscape, and then you can go into the light and do whatever else toning you want to do. So let's say you want to bring up the shadows and maybe some more contrast in here, and yeah, in this case I would probably do just a bit magenta. I like magenta, so I can't help it, it's a part of my style. I like orange colors and magenta together. It's just how I do photography. Maybe do something about the white balance to around there. And this is now 5 sliders. And yeah, let's for fun go in and do local masking, add basic. Let's add a gradient. Let's pull it up here so it goes around there. Let's make the foreground a bit darker. Let's make the contrast a bit bigger. Sun structure. Dim the highlights. Make it just even darker. Yeah, something like that. And let's do a vignette. So let's go down on the amount all the way. Let's go down on size. Let's up the feathering to around there. Let's up the inner light to something like that, and up the amount again. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe go down even more in size. And that's just a quick edit. It doesn't take long and it's effective. And I always, people like to do the cropping first. For some reason I like to do it last. I think it's because in the beginning of Lightroom, when you did cropping first, it lagged down the computer. So it's something that stuck with me since those days. So rule of third again, sun at rule of third. And I truly think that's a half decent image. It's a bit much going down on the opacity of the effects. And this is the before and this is the after. It's not the best image, but it's okay. Now back to about Luminar and my thoughts on Luminar. As you can see, there's a lot of things you can do. You can actively use brushes, you can use gradients, you can use radials, and there are things for the professional photographers inside of Luminar AI. And you can also do sky replacements, which works decently. You can do a ton of stuff, but using Luminar AI as a standalone product for professional photographers, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're using it as a filter for example, Adobe Photoshop or Affinity or something like that. Then you have smart objects, you can do a lot more. There's no layers inside of Luminar AI, but if you use it with Adobe Photoshop, you have the smart layers, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you as a professional photographer to use this product. If you don't use Adobe Photoshop, I would recommend something else than Luminar AI if you're a professional. However, if you are a professional like me, but develop photos for Instagram and social pages separately from those you develop for prints and your portfolio, and you want to do the social pages really quickly, then Luminar AI is really good. It's really strong for that. It's a Instagram social pages client. If you're an amateur photographer, I think Luminar AI is a really excellent place to start. As you get more experienced as a photographer, I think you will eventually need to move over to another product or use it with Adobe Photoshop. Other products I would recommend is, of course, Lightroom. Lightroom is good. Some people think it's the best. And you have ACDC. It's a really good software. You have ON1 Photo Raw 2021, which is my favorite software. Then you have Capture One, which is really a strong piece of software. But with Capture One, you usually need to have at least Affinity Photo, a pixel editor, to make a finished product for your portfolio or for your prints. I'm sure there are other products as well, but there are options, alternatives to Luminar AI when you move into the more professional segment. But for starters, for amateurs, sure, I would recommend Luminar AI. Well, anyway, thanks for watching this video. This was a really long video, but I wanted to go in and do some proper talk about the product they have released and who's it for and who is it not for. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And goodbye.